Comically Dark. I'm Jared, and I'm here with Teladia Plays making his return. What's up, brother?
Hey, it's a one-off appearance. So, and I had to kind of talk about the Superman final trailer, and I had to talk about the WBD breaking up stuff.
Of course,
So,
there's a lot of crap going on. And we got Robin. What's up, you Lois Lane lover?
Hey, Lois is awesome in the trailer.
Debatable. Anyway, so let's start with the trailer. So we got the final Superman trailer, and again, this got me on board. I never thought I'd say that, but you know what? This got me more on board with the movie. So I'll start with that. But I'll start with Teladia since he's been the longest absent. Teladia, what did you think of the Superman trailer?
I loved it from start to finish, and I was just like blown away by how creative this trailer had to be to sell me for the tickets, right? And there was a lot of things that a lot of people missed in the trailer that I took a look into. But I'm not gonna spoil it for the people, but I'm gonna say this much though: you gotta keep your eyes peeled if you want to rewatch it and look for specific things, because there are certain characters from the DC lore that are in this movie.
And yeah, and Robert and I found one. Well, we think we found one that we're like,
right?
Ooh, interesting. So Robert, again, because we talked about it on UTC, what did you think of the Superman trailer?
Loved it. Got me even more hyped up. Makes me feel very confident for it. And just so much of it. Like, yes, it's the last trailer, so it's going to be showing off a lot more of the plot. But by doing that, they more gave us the more of Lex this time around. That's all we really needed was Lex's point of view.
He was menacing, where he goes, "Who raised? I'll kill them. I'll kill them too.
I'll kill them too." Again, it's just Nicholas Hoult was made to be Lex. He was made to be menacing.
Ironic because he auditioned for Superman. I'm kind of glad he didn't get it because he's way better than Lex.
That happens a lot. You know, where you have an actor who auditioned for one, they got the other. I mean, GoldenEye, Sean Bean auditioned for Bond, and he got to be 006 instead.
That works. So for me, now let me be clear. My apprehension of the movie was never necessarily that much with what Gunn was doing. It was just my distrust of WB. Oh, we'll talk about WB later. But honestly, so this trailer allayed a lot of my concerns about the tone and stuff like that. There's still some problems I have with the movie's plot if the leaks turn out to be true. But it's more like, okay, now I'm a little bit more stabilized in my opinion. Because I'm sorry, Superman using his heat vision and spinning will never not be cool. Like, can't believe no one's done that before.
Exactly.
Watch that be a super move in Injustice.
That's gotta be a move or like in a Lego game when you hold down the attack button and they do a special move.
Yeah. By the way, can we acknowledge Jared having the Superman T-shirt on right now?
There you go.
The movie one. Yep.
I knew we were talking about it. I was gonna wear a Snyder one, but still.
I'll be right back. I'm gonna get a different shirt.
Yes. Okay. There you go. He's doing it too. So Adabi says Nick would have made a good Superman, so much better as Lex, the best Lex since the original films. Yeah, I can kind of go with that. But yeah. So there's that, and I like that scene when Green Lantern is staring down Superman. Make a move, Big Blue.
Yeah, that was like very Green Lantern-ish.
Yeah, it's very Guy Gardner. Yeah, exactly. I feel like, and again, Teladia, if the leaks are true, they toned down the humor in the editing. So it's like they took out a lot of the more crude humor stuff, which I'm like, okay, there you go. Now you're because Superman is a character that, yeah, you can have comedy, but you don't want to have too much. This isn't Guardians or Suicide Squad.
But that punch to the jaw like that.
That was cool. And the teeth come out and hit the camera. If you notice, they hit the camera.
Some people have problems with that. I'm just like, no, I don't have a problem with it.
Yeah, exactly. And hang on. Hang on. Hello, sir.
Heat Man, I'm back.
How's everybody doing tonight? What's up, Teladia?
Oh, he got the Batman versus Superman shirt. Oh God.
I figured that'd be fitting.
All right, so JJheat, your thoughts on the Superman trailer?
I'm impressed by it. I'm sorry, I've been burned too many times, but I'm impressed with what they were able to piece together the home stretch of the marketing. So I am impressed with what they were able to put together.
Again, if I was telling Teladia, so it's kind of cool. So two things they changed in the editing. Number one, so it was originally gonna be like set over the course of chapters and have like days of the week thing. They took that out. Now, having rewatched The Suicide Squad, I see what he probably would have done, like integrated them into the scenery like a comic book. But the thing is, that kind of breaks up the like flow of the movie a little bit. I can see why they took that out.
Right.
Yeah, but you're JJheat. How can you burn? Oh yeah, that's true. That's a good one.
I am eternal, but that's a separate conversation.
Yeah, exactly. But the other thing that they did is they toned down on like the humor, which I'm like, and I was telling Teladia this, Robert, is that Superman, Superman's a character where you can go to a degree comedic, to a degree.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to go too much, but it kind of has to be in there.
It's a very thin line.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. He
was exposed to a cosmic storm.
I'll take that. I'll take that.
Yeah, it's basically he shouldn't be Plastic Man level, but he shouldn't be Superman and Batman level stoic either.
Which, okay, I think we need to address the elephant in the room. Contrary to popular belief, and I'm only bringing this up because Robert has the shirt, BVS did not make Superman grimdark. If anything, it was...
No, I wasn't going for there. I was just simply saying where the two extremes.
Yeah. Exactly.
No, I understand that. It's just, I'm just saying that's that balance I'm telling you. The Superman Returns tried to go a little too campy to write up nostalgia, whereas Man of Steel and BVS went too far in the grimdark direction because it was acting as a pseudo. Because BVS was doing too much at once.
It's a Batman movie, first off. Let's not forget about that.
But make a long story short, like I said before, you need that balance between comedic timing and keeping Superman as kind of this paragon or hopeful figure. You need that delicate balance all across the board.
And also appropriate humor.
Now, I will also say that I'm positive any talks about there was adult humor, stuff like that. My guess is even if that did happen, it was Gunn testing the waters, like putting, a lot of directors, don't put stuff in there with the banking of, this isn't going to make it. I'm just trying to see what, the test the waters, find out what's going to work, what isn't going to work, and try and go from there.
The chemistry, and you might get some good bloopers out of them. So
exactly. Exactly. That's how I look at it.
Random brings up a good point. So he mentions when Superman uses his heat vision to take down the Lex Trooper, should they have? No, because here's the thing. Two things on that. Number one, he can moderate like the intensity of his heat vision, so it could he could turn it into like a Cyclops style concussive blast. And second off, let me put it this way: we're seeing a PG-13 superhero movie. If this were R-rated, they would have been cut in half. But
that's not Superman style.
Well, let me put it this way: in the Snyderverse, when he used heat vision, he didn't rip Zod in half.
Exactly, and
he cut off Steppenwolf's horn was because that movie's R.
Now you could make the argument, but Zod could take it because he's Kryptonian. Fair.
But then again, how do we know those are Lex Troopers? Those could be like Multiplex or any of those types of characters.
Exactly, and I say this with the Superman, I don't see them even going to dealing with the killing thing at all. I do not see them even dealing with it. Like I don't think they're going to go out of their way and put emphasis on it. I just don't think they're even going to touch on it.
Yeah, exactly. But here's the other thing. So Grace Randolph had to weigh in on this.
Oh, geez, I know. We know what you and I talked about this.
So we talked about the punch. He goes, "That's Superman would moderate his strength." And I go,
"That is moderating."
He is, because if he went full strength, that dude's head would be pulverized.
Like, whoop.
Yeah, it's that exactly. I'm like, what are you talking? Of course he's gonna moderate strength. Are you saying he shouldn't punch anyone now?
Yeah, no one wants that. It's like
And Brit's here. I'm just gonna do this.
He's back.
Yeah, exactly. But and
yeah. Oh, Cameron even said, yeah, saw the tweet and banged his head.
yeah, because it's like, we're still doing that. We're
sorry,
still on this argument. Are you kidding me?
This felt like she was catering to the part of the Snyder fans. Now, again, I'm not saying all, but those among them who were just in it for the power fantasy, who don't understand Superman, claim they do, and then wanted to be he beats up and kills people or whatever. I think she was catering to that.
That do that, but
she was catering to
one at a time, gentlemen.
Sorry.
But to concede what Robert was saying, to an extent, but at least a lot of them are just edgy teenagers who don't know any better, especially when they came out the Injustice games.
That's it.
Julene, I like this Guardians of the Galaxy films. I'm not a big fan of Peacemaker. I recently rewatched Suicide Squad, and I can see why people like it. Also, I'll put it that way because having read more Suicide Squad comics, that's basically spot
That's pretty
on.
much Suicide Squad.
Yeah, yep,
that is.
Yeah, it's pretty much that. So I'm like, okay, I'm fine. You kept it within like the realm of the characters.
Yep.
Was it? I wouldn't even say it was campy at any particular point, unless we're counting Polka Dot Man specifically.
Mm-hmm. Hey, what's up, Hal Jordan?
Yeah, but even that though, it's like a guy can have look at someone like the Spot. You could take someone that's completely campy, but make them a force to be reckoned with.
But it's like Polka Dot Man still kicked ass, so it's like it's fine. But anyway, back to this. It's like, so when I see the trailer, okay, so there's one thing. Oh, and yes, NJ, I do agree with you on that to a major degree.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a moment in the trailer. I'm gonna pull up the trailer sound off, obviously, because WB likes to kill people. In terms of like copyright, but there's one part that I need to bring up because Robert and I, as soon as we saw this, we were both like, is that who I think it is?
Yep.
So, and this would work for many different ways based on the theory because
now I would say this, it's not going to be 1-to-1. It's not going to be a
no,
1-to-1.
It won't be. But if this is the character that we're thinking of, this is very much like in there. So let me go to here. Hang on. It's about.
I want to say, I think this is Ultraman out of his suit.
Yeah. So this is probably Ultraman's identity, but it's not like any of the characters that we think it is. Hang on.
Yep. It's not. I think because much like what happened with this character in the first place, it's not going to be Bizarro because it seems too. You don't want to waste your shot on Bizarro with this.
Yeah, so this character right here. Yep. So here's the thing about that. So, yeah, go ahead, Teladia.
I did not want to spoil this particular part of the trailer because there's a specific character from the comics. I think you know where I'm going with this, Jared.
Yeah. So I think the three of us are like in line with this. So there's a character that was a new 52 Superman named Hell or H.
Apostrophe.
Tony and Hell. It's just spelled Hell. So basically, Robert, explain who Hell is.
Well, behind the scenes, he was supposed to be Bizarro, but he was so drastically different. They decided, you know what? He's not Bizarro. And basically, he is in studying and researching things, a group of a gathering of Kryptonian genetics, genes and everything, were placed onto a ship, sent to warp, and through a side effect of that, I'm just saying go to warp in the figurative sense. As a side effect of that, they all merged into one being. Well, we didn't know that until his second story. His first story, he was portraying himself like he was Superman's clone or brother or something.
Now, here's the interesting part about this. So, Teladia, fighting Hell is one of the 3 incidents that lead to New 52 Superman's death.
Really?
Well, it was the fire pits of Apocalypse, dealing with what?
The Kryptonite thing? No. it was then in JLA where he dealt with Ra and whatever the god of the sun is.
But hang on.
Rao.
I'm trying to. Where's my Rebirth Super? Oh,
Yeah, it was always those three that they kept emphasizing on. I don't know about Hell because Hell was a long ways before any of that build up.
okay, but the point is, this dude is a badass, and here's why this would make sense, and here's why we're thinking this. First off, from the distance, it looks like he's got white skin. That's Hell. Looks like he's got long hair. Also Hell. And what Gunn is probably doing is using Hell as like a clone of Superman, because that's pretty much what Ultraman is in this movie, from what I've been able to piece together.
But he doesn't want it to be Bizarro speak.
Yeah, exactly, because Hell does not speak like Bizarro.
Oh no,
I'm
he
gonna
has
be honest.
intelligence.
Outside of an ensemble role, like with Red Hood and the Outlaws, for example, Bizarro is too campy to be taken seriously as a secondary villain.
No, I think if you focus on Bizarro World, it can work.
Well, again, here's the thing, though. What we need to consider: this is in a less grounded superhero world where you can take all these like more fantastical elements and use them. So there is that.
Yeah, look at what Julian just brought up.
Yeah. Okay. Real quick. All right. So I have this idea for Wonder Woman. Why I don't have her have two moms? She already does. Instead of being the daughter of Zeus, she could be her. No, because with the clay origin, she was made by Hippolyta, but raised by Hippolyta and Philip
and the Amazons. She was blessed by Zeus, but he didn't play a direct role into her existence.
Because I'm pretty sure that with Wade, they're not gonna do the Zeus origin for Wonder Woman anymore. They're undoing that. They might
not. We don't know for certain until it comes out.
Yeah, I'm just conjecturing that. That's kind of
I'm just playing devil's advocate. That's all.
Plus, on the movie side, I'm pretty sure they're going to do the clay origin for the movie side.
Anything to be opposite of,
Yeah, so I'm like, whether or not Wonder Woman is queer or not, I'm fine with her having queer moms. I'm like, because it makes sense. It's what that's the part where I'm like, yeah, that would make sense. But anyway. But so,
and then of course the whole bill was like they chose him. They deserve what they get.
Yeah, so that is straight up Lex. Where like he's like, no, they're I don't care about them if they chose an alien over me. And again, that all of this adds up.
You see little Joey.
Yeah, exactly. Who is Metamorpho's son? Now, again, all of this added up to. Okay, I think that you actually have a really good Superman movie here. And
now there's that one quit messing around bit. We don't know the context.
I mean, if it's just that, there's one cringe joke, but I want to see how much total humor is in the movie, because if it's just that one thing that's like that cringe of a joke, fine. But if it's like one cringe joke after another, see, that's gonna change a lot of how I like see that joke,
right? If
that makes sense. Yeah, and yes, Hera is technically her spiritual mom, being the main goddess along with the others that brought her to life. Yeah, that's true. All in all, okay, so let's talk about this in terms of how much we think this movie will make based upon the trailer and the trailer hype. I'm gonna adjust it slightly. The least I think it makes is slightly less than Man of Steel. The most is Batman numbers.
I would agree with that personally, because we also just have the big sales of the early tickets and everything, and I just got this gut feeling that it's going to have great word of mouth.
True. Which was
what Batman numbers are you talking about? The Batman or
the Batman?
Okay.
I think it's going to be somewhere in that. I'm not convinced yet it's going to hit $1 billion, because Superman is, if you want that, Superman's a very big gamble for that. It could. It very well could. It's just, I think, in terms of like the ceiling, I think the Batman numbers is a safe bet. And plus, even with the Hollywood Reporter sending out their report, they said that, without saying it, if it makes like around the amount of cash that the Batman made, they will consider it an overwhelming success. Meaning, they're not expecting $1 billion either, which is healthy, because the way I kind of think studios should operate is expect a little less and then That way you can be surprised if you make more, if that makes sense.
By the way, can I bring up one thing? It shouldn't all be goddesses because you still need the speed of Hermes. There's no goddess of speed.
Anyway, we're talking about Superman.
Sorry. I just saw that in the comments. Sorry.
Yeah, but we can talk about that in the Wonder Woman portions, because trust me, we do have one.
Okay, but, you're right.
But yeah, so I'm going to go around. So Teladia, how much do you, in your estimation, what's like your range?
Between 550 to 750, I would say.
So around the same as me.
Yeah, about that. I think it'll make a profit. I think it'll make its money back.
I think so too. I think so too. There's enough hype of this that is a real possibility.
There's too much marketing for this film that is positive more than negative, because I've seen a lot of positivity from people that I've spoken to that are very excited for the film, that aren't toxic, by the way. They've been like posting stuff and tagging James Gunn because they've been associated with James Gunn before, and they've been saying the same thing. It's like, all they've seen is like positive marketing, like from London Bridge with the Superman.
Yeah, they had the Superman logo. They had it on one of the pyramids. I mean, Teladia, Robert and JJheat, I'm like the biggest Snyder fan there is. They got me on board. Now, I know there's going to be someone in the comments that's going to wonder about this. I still love the Snyder movies. I would still love a conclusion or a continuation. The best way that happens is under DC Studios. Ergo, this has to do well.
Exactly. If there's bombs and if they drop it all, you're going to be stuck with Batman movies.
Yeah, most likely. If this does well, no matter how much of a chance it has of Zack being invited back to complete a story, it's more than it would be if DC Studios like fails. Plus, I'm all, in addition to being a Snyder fan, I'm a DC fan. I want the brand to do well, because the brand does well. Then plus, we're in a multiverse. Everyone gets a chance to do what they want to do with the DC character. You don't have to like it. You definitely don't have to like it. I'm not saying like and see. There's one project I'm definitely not going to go see, but based upon who's the showrunner. All of you guys know.
Yeah, we already know.
All of you guys know. But in terms of like, in terms of like, do I want the entire brand to tank? No, I do not. And yes, exactly, Randall. But I'm saying if this movie does well, then Gunn has more of a reason to invest in the Elseworlds brand as well, because everything's healthier.
Exactly.
Plus, on top of that, what makes sense to this is that the amount of like stuff that we're seeing for like popcorn buckets and
have you seen the crypto one? Have you seen how adorable that one is?
Yeah,
I like that one. That was pretty cool. I'm gonna get a few of those. I'm taking a few of those.
I'm definitely I'm picking up the popcorn bucket and the drink cup thing. I'm definitely gonna buy that because I need a new one of a drink cup. Plus, on top of that, I was like thinking, which one should I get? Should I get the one with the shield
ones? There's so many good ones.
There's like, should I get the shield one or should I get the one with the Superman, the laser eyes? I don't know which one to go for.
I may get the shield one. I have to see. But Brandon C says, I want Supergirl to do well, so Tom King.
He's not the writer on that movie, though. He's just more of a consultant on that one.
But here's the thing. Let me put it this way. If you want him to do less comics, him getting really involved in DC Studios is the surefire way to do it. But anyway.
That's true. But there's only so much they can adapt. So you actually need to be stuff that's him working on things that are outside his wheelhouse.
Yeah, but anyway. So, Robert, in terms of like your range, do you agree with me and Teladia in like our range in terms of how much it makes?
I agree. Although I do say, if there's ever been a case where it has the strongest likelihood of reaching $1 billion, it's currently, but it's not guaranteed. I just said a strong likelihood.
It's like with me, I'm like, it could, but I need to see more to convince me of that.
I'd say a 60% chance of reaching $1 billion as opposed to beforehand where I thought it was like a 10% chance.
I would say so. And let me put it straight with me again. It's like, could it? Yes, it very well could.
It does definitely feel like it could, yes.
It does definitely feel like it could. But but here's the thing. I'm the guy that thought The Flash was going to make $1 billion. I was going off of Keaton. That's why. Teladia, you were there. But so I'm just like, okay, you know what? I'm a little more cautious, but it has the potential. JHeat, how about you?
I would say that range as well, because especially if you want the DCU to be successful, you really have to play it safe with this movie if you want to make a profit.
Mhm.
If we're being objective, if James Gunn's Superman or Superman Legacy, we just in the 750 range, they've done something.
Can I also add something?
Yeah.
Sure, go ahead, Teladia.
If they make their money back, right, and it's the top end of the estimate, you can expect upgrades to the suit, guaranteed.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think they'll because they could always say, because the Superman has only been Superman for 3 years. It could be he decides it's time for a change, and then maybe he drops the trunks, or like he goes with a more classic look to Superman in terms of like less lines and less padding.
I think that one's more likely. The
Me
less
too.
lines.
Me
I
too.
think-
But I'm just saying changes to the suit in general.
Yeah, I can see that being the case, because I saw something on Twitter where it was like a fan costume design or whatever. It was like the cape was like to the neck, but he still had the trunks and everything, but it looked really Action Comics 1000 ish. So I don't know if you
Good.
saw that. I don't know if you saw that on Twitter, Jared.
I
It
did
was
not.
like it's fan made, but
Oh,
it's still
but
I
it
still
could.
it definitely could be the case where James can be like, okay, we will still keep the look of Superman having the trunks,
And they'll
but
keep the S, obviously, because that's this universe House of L crest. They can't change
Yeah.
that.
they can't change that. Yeah. So what they'll just do is just put less lines and put the cape tucked in. That's what I
Quick
think.
question before we move on to the Diana section. Isn't there a licensing dispute going on with the original Superman logo right now?
No,
No.
Logo. Oh, logo. Oh, what about the logo?
I've never heard of
Because
that.
I had heard rumors that the reason they used the Kingdom Come inspired crest was because there was some kind of licensing issue with the standard
I
one.
wouldn't think so.
I've never heard of that.
Again,
I've
this is a rumor I heard, so I could be wrong.
Oh, we already know they resolved the second attempt.
Yeah, they resolved that second attempt quick time. That's why it's coming out in the UK. So I'm happy. Yay!
Yeah, because again, Oprah, what an ego. What an ego.
Oh my god, dude.
The fact
But-
he keeps on riling up the Schusters. At least the Siegel that moved on.
And I'm gonna tell you this right now. I've been covering DC for about 5 years, ever since I started this channel. It's been a while since I've seen this much hype for DC. Now, if it translates to success for the movies, which this one very well could, that's awesome. But that would be very, very good. But like Brandon says, because he says he thinks it makes $1 billion because families can go this for crypto. That is a draw, though.
That is true, but my fear is DC Comics changes the costume to a new 52-ish middle grade. That's kind of what we're at.
Yeah, kind of
Hybrid
where we're
designs, Brandon. That is a fair consent. That's a fair point. Though, if you want to argue crypto, first of all, do you know how many families take their kids to PG-13 movies? I mean,
A lot.
A
subjectively,
lot more than you think it is, JHeat.
Because especially since a lot of PGs are not like. Remember when PG used to be hard PG?
yes, borderline, like right at the end. This was like late 90s, early 2000s. By the time
Right when it was created, yeah.
Yeah. By the time the 2010s rolled around, so much had been delegated and toned down. I don't even think it's a censorship anymore. I think the original Transformers. Hold on, let me see. Check something.
The only thing PG-13 allows you to do is the one F-bomb. That's it.
Yeah, I think even the Transformers
Yeah,
movies
exactly.
were strictly PG.
But no, but that's what it feels like. It feels like if it's PG-13, chances are there's going to be the one F-bomb that you can't do in a PG.
So,
Yeah. So, but real quick, NJ says so 500 to 600 mil, maybe. Worst case is 300 to 400.
Okay, it is not pulling Black Adam numbers.
Nah,
NJ.
I don't think it's
No.
going to do that much.
Calm down.
I don't think so. What you gonna say, Teladia?
I was gonna mention this as well. Is watch how after the movie is out for the first week, it won't drop, but I think it'll increase in.
It'll be a rare increase.
That's the other thing, because that's the other measure of a movie success is that second week and third week drop off. Because if it's small, yeah, it's fine. If it's
Is it?
large, then we got a problem. Which the
Yep.
only thing that has me concerned, I'm not saying it's guaranteed, but concerned is because Fantastic Four is coming out like the week after.
2 weeks, so you at least have 1 week of an increase.
Yeah, so we'll see, because my concern is, it could be unfounded, but still concerned that Fantastic Four is going to cannibalize it.
But I have a
Look-
funny feeling because Fandango did say that the Superman was the quickest selling tickets.
Beating out
For
Fantastic
opening night,
Four.
though, because remember,
overnight. Yeah.
chances are opening night is like guys like us that are like the big Uber geeks, and it's one of the things that Grace said that I actually agree with. If you want to see, like, if to Robert's point, word of mouth is going to carry this.
Now, here's something else, though. I think the short runtime is going to work to all three movies' advantages.
That too.
I think the fact they're all 2 hours, you might get multiple people going to multiple movies in a day. The only thing that might the only thing that might, of course, decrease that is if the movie theater stuff. But hey, AMC is trying to lower their prices.
Yeah, and again, let me put it this way: the deck is a little more stacked in this movie's favor. That's the first time I've said that for this Superman movie. Let me put it this way: if this movie fails,
it's going to be like an act of God at this point.
At this point, in order for it to do flash numbers, something's got to happen. Like, it's got to completely collapse.
Yeah, there has to be like some controversy.
Now, Okay, in terms of, we would have to see the overarching, because at least for right now, with a lot of the carryovers from the merger. Hold on, is my camera on?
No.
Okay, not. At least with a lot of the carryovers from the merger, a lot of Chapter 1 is just carryover prior to the Warner Brothers Discovery merger. Excuse me. So, I think the first original project we're going to get is. Hold on excuse me. All right, thank you. Basically,
is everything okay?
All we see is the black screen, JHeat.
What's that supposed to mean?
No, I mean a square. All I see is a square. I swear.
We don't see you.
We don't.
Oh. Keep going, guys.
All right, so he's kind of rejoin. But anyway, so let's move on. Do you guys want to talk about Wonder Woman?
Yeah, because the chat seems to want to.
All right.
Jared, I gotta say this, right, about the Wonder Woman thing.
Real quick, I have a transition clip.
Hereby complete the mission of the Amazons by ridding this world of you forever.
It's a Wonder Woman movie. So anyway, Wonder Woman's finally getting a movie.
Well, I wanted to get your thoughts on that, considering the fact that this came from Entertainment Weekly, and that it dropped in that article that James Gunn said, "Oh, by the way, we're making a Wonder Woman movie."
Now,
how do you feel about that, considering the fact that you've been saying, "Oh, dang, that Wonder Woman."
Very good. It's very good. It's very good. Thank you, sir. But so really, the way I kind of see this going is, so either, because I see like a lot, to JHeat's point, a ton of the Chapter 1 projects were like carryovers from the earlier regime, and it could be that's what Paradise Lost was. Yep. Now, if they still want to use it, they can, but it could be they wanted to have that so they have something Amazons and Wonder Woman related until they can get like a Wonder Woman movie off the ground. Which, NJ, I told you they were working on this from behind the scenes, because Robert, if they got a Wonder Woman movie, if the Wonder Woman movie is being written now, that means the pitch got approved by the Marston.
Yep.
So I'm like, so we went through that process. I told you they were doing that.
And I'm gonna put this out there right now, and I know, what's his name? Crazy Joe's probably watching this.
Not yet.
Crazy Joe. No, but I'm gonna put this out there anyway. Dude, Gal Gadot's not returning. Facts.
Neither is Zachary Levi.
Neither is Zachary Levi. So keep your expectations in check. for that.
Now, I had some people talk asking me what type of story I want to see, and I actually have a visual aid of this. It's a new omnibus I picked up.
Oh,
Robert and I were talking about this. So
yeah.
the first Greg Rucka run, first, not second, the good one. Here's why. What this discusses is Wonder Woman being a warrior, but also a diplomat. You can start right in the middle. You have the Themysciran embassy,
Yep.
and then you have that way you see like the more diplomat side of Wonder Woman and the warrior. Obviously, you could see both. The potential is there, and this is the run that really showed it really well. That and Jimenez, but mainly this.
How many years into her career was she into that run?
This? Oh, a long time.
Okay.
See if and Britt, if you know this, go ahead and weigh in on the chat. I think it's more like in terms of like at the Rocket time because
4 or 5 years.
4 or 5. I was about to say because Perez is she just got here, and then Jimenez was like she's been here for like a year or two, right?
Thereabouts.
Something
Again,
like
it varies.
They never really give you like a time period as to
but
how.
She's not a new person. She's not a new person off the island. That's for sure.
The reason why I'm saying that is because remember, like James Gunn has already established heroes are in this universe
for 300 years, which that makes sense. That's a good one.
Yeah. So for Wonder Woman, for the Wonder Woman case, could it be a 3 years in portraying a Superman?
Now, here's the thing, though.
Or Wonder Woman, sorry.
I think around the time that Creature Commandos was coming out, they did an interview and they said that like the public's aware of Wonder Woman, so she exists.
Mm-hmm.
Or of course she exists, but they know about her, the public.
Right.
So it's like that's something you can kind of go with. So that's
hopefully you don't do the World War II thing.
Yeah, no, I guarantee you they're not. No, and NJ, you read my mind, my friend. They're not going to do. I doubt they're going to do the immortal Wonder Woman, for lack of a better term.
Yeah. Now, now I will say that. Well, actually, Brandon brings up a good question. Do you think they'll have? I know we know with the Robins, they're going to try and get all the Robins. Do you think they're going to do the same thing for the Wonder Girls, or do you think they're just going to focus on Donna or just Cassie?
I think they'll at least have Donna and Cassie.
You will? You do?
I do think so. Now, they don't have to play like major roles in the plot, but they could like cameo or like they'll say, I wonder what Cassie is doing or Donna's doing. That's all you really have to do.
Yeah, but there's a fair question because we don't know. Because again, they're focusing so much on the Robins all existing.
Now, here's the thing though. Based upon the principles that Gunn has talked about, the idea that like that these heroes have existed for like a long time, that they're established. Like he basically said he doesn't want to do these origin stories. It's a safe bet that the other Wonder Girls are there.
Right.
What do you think, JJheat?
Sorry about that. I was having technical difficulties, but mainly due to external factors that be. More than likely, due to the external factors, more than likely they're gonna have Wonder Woman play a role in Justice League and then save her solo project for Chapter 2.
That's probably depending on how long Chapter 1 goes for. So
yeah,
but still, it's like, what do you think of like if they'll like have the Wonder Girls established as well, at least Donna and Cassie?
I would say depending on how this plays into Teen Titans.
That is true. That's true.
Why I was asked. That's why I was curious on, because it all depends. Like, are they? We already know they're going to go more with the cartoon group. So, but again, that's just a few people removed from the original Perez and new Teen Titans.
Yeah, right. If Cal started his career 3 years, how long for Diana? Well, she's already established by the time a Creature Commando start. I could see her maybe being slightly more experienced than Clark, but slightly. Like, not like, obviously, immortal, but maybe like 4 or 5 years established.
And random, they're not. There's no point in adapting King stuff. That's too late in our history to do that.
Yeah, and I think Gunn even knows that's extremely controversial. And with movies, you can't take that large of a risk with that large of a budget.
Yeah.
So it's very unlikely. I think people are like overreacting to. Well, here's the thing: it doesn't mean that King won't be a writer, though. That's the problem.
Or a consultant.
Because all that they say here is that the movie's being written. They don't say by who. Because
I doubt it's King, though.
I do doubt it's King. I hope it's not. And more technical issues. On the island, they also have a mirror that's observed. Diana would at best not be naive. She comes into the world very knowledgeable. If they play into that, but even like in Earth 1 when they had the mirror, they kind of still did that. Which one say, Robert?
Not only that, but just because you observe it doesn't mean you know how you experience it. Like she's not going to know like how ice cream tastes, or she's not going to know so much other things just by looking at it.
That's true. I can kind of go with that.
But remember, they're gonna go with the classic design for Wonder Woman. They're not gonna go with the New 52 design.
And I don't think they're going to go with the base, though. I think they're going to go with the skirt.
Yeah, they'll go with what I would like for them to do. You guys all saw Batman Ninja 2, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Remember how Wonder Woman had the really long skirt?
Yeah.
Kind of golden agey. They could do that. Like
No,
they don't have to do they don't have to do this here. They don't have to do this.
No, they don't have to. And
Nope.
it could be completely different. It could be something like from
Now, go ahead.
something like the classic, like from the DCAU design.
Now, here's something I do not think they're going to go pushing too strong on like a do for Wonder Woman with women what Black Panther the movie did with blacks. I don't think they're going to go that far. That's opening too much problem. That would open the risk.
That's what 1984 kind of did.
Kinda, but you saw the man writing it. I'm just saying, I don't think they're going to do like, oh, it's only female goddesses. I don't think they're going to go that far.
Yeah.
Or they're empowering her.
We'll see NJ in terms of like how powered she is. By chapter 1 ends with Justice League. Guns not sequel to Superman could be a crossover to introduce her. Can you imagine if the crossover is Superman, Wonder Woman, not romantic, but like just a team up between the two? That would be an interesting way to introduce her and then go to Wonder Woman.
I got a good one.
Yeah.
The Trinity.
That's a good one.
And Brandon, just to answer that though, I don't think we should take too much stock in like a brief cameo in the anime stuff. We shouldn't take stock in that. That was just an artist's interpretation, not a costume designer's work.
Well, also remember, Gunn was talking about how like the Batman design, he was constantly changing it to make sure because he wasn't like that secure on it. So it could be like, yeah. Plus,
it's just a vision. Doesn't guarantee anything.
It's a stand-in design where don't want to fully commit to it yet.
Yeah, because remember, Creature Commandos came out. They the only design they had was Peacemaker and Superman. That's it. Now,
but still, it's like the way I see it is the way they could do this is obviously after Supergirl is that leads into Green Lanterns, and then but in Green Lanterns, because it's going to be set on Earth and not in space, Themyscira, it's going to be a big factor. Just think about it, Jared, right? Themyscira, the Amazons, help the Lantern, so to say, right? And stop from invasion and whatnot. And that could lead into a Trinity film.
That could.
Possibly.
Like NJ brings up, I hope she gets a movie in chapter 1, which is called Gods and Monsters. Again, it depends on how long chapter 1 is. So it could be she's like near the end with Justice League. It could be her movie leads into Justice League.
No, but we also need to see how well Superman does. I'm not saying if Superman does just barely successful, they're going to steamroll with Wonder Woman. Because again, they want to get this right. I don't think they want to just toss out anything. But I do hope we get a Linda Carter cameo again.
And Lego Masters, well, they make her like that. They'll do a new approach. I think they're going to do a new approach.
Don't remind.
They're not going to do the granny pants, JJheat.
They're not going to do the granny.
They're not going to do the granny pants. Paradise Island is a utopia, and their nation is beyond having to. Well, not that, but see.
There is going to be sexism. I'm sorry, you can't get rid of the sexism because of their nature for men can be really one-sided in the early days.
No, but here's my point. Yes, we know that that they're like beyond that, but here's the thing: modern writers could shoehorn it in there and make that a focus. That's why I'm like, it depends on who's writing the movie.
That's why I say
it
they
depends
should
which
not.
aspects we're talking about. Are they just going to completely phone it in, or are they just going to just kowtow and grandstand and try to make vague social commentary about it? It just depends on the writer and their execution.
I really don't think Gunn's going to allow that. I truly don't.
Or
think
the Marston's, because remember, they still have to approve this.
Well, the Marsdens do, but I think here's the thing. Well, I know I've been bringing it up a lot. I don't think they really have that much hyper specific they care about. It's just a case of, is she the main hero or is she being dominated by something else? No, okay.
Okay, yeah.
That's how I always looked at it with them.
So I was gonna mention this. Maybe the reason why we're getting a Wonder Woman film and not any more information on Paradise Lost is because of the backlash and because of the situation from the fans.
What
and then
backlash?
it's like fans demanding for a film rather than a television series.
Well, it wasn't necessarily an either or. It was more like, just give us Wonder Woman content with Diana in it.
And I think also, my guess also is they probably just couldn't come up with anything that could be justifiable for Paradise Lost to work. And so they probably then decided, you know what? It's just going to be easier to do a Wonder Woman movie.
Now, they could still do Paradise Lost later and like make it still do the prequel thing. They could definitely just do that. Or actually adapt Paradise Lost and have Donna show up and play a role with Diana in Paradise Lost like she does in the comic.
Yeah,
Let me cook.
Let me
cook. I know I'm in the middle of a thunderstorm where I am, so my connection's not the best.
It's all good, dude. Don't worry
But
about it.
just let me cook here. I feel like, say what you will about all the corporate stuff, the carryover, at least if you're going to go the TV show route with Paradise Lost, have the first season establish like Amazon Historia and the history of the Amazons and stuff like that, and then save Diana for season 2. That way you at least get some exposure before her ensemble or supporting role in Justice League, which I am convinced is just going to be a modern New Frontier.
Mm-hmm.
I think so too.
Now, what I also believe is that I don't think you have anything to worry about the bathing suit, because I do not think any actress is going to put up with that, nor do I think any costume designer is going to be a female costume designer is going to want to put up with it.
Because here's the thing. A lot of fans have to understand this, and this was my concern with like stuff. And Robert, you know this, and Teladia and JJheat, you all know this. What looks good on a comic book page won't necessarily translate well to live action, because the Wonder Woman suit, like the bikini suit, it looks good on a page, but it's not. But it's very tough to get that right for live action and not make it look like the woman's overly sexualized. Even the Linda Carter one kind of did that.
Yep. Oh, and Britt makes a good point. I think this could also be a response to what Zaslav said.
Yeah, because remember, Zaslav said he basically said our main pillars of DC are Superman, Batman, Supergirl, and Wonder Woman.
Although
At least he didn't say Harley Quinn.
Although the Gunn did come out and kind of not refute it, but give his own look at how that went.
And Lego Master, we still don't know because the movie's being written. We still don't know.
Yeah, probably most likely not Superman. Most likely not, because he's already with Lois in the.
No, but it doesn't mean they'll stay together. That's always been my point. But my point is, for right now, we don't know that. Let me put it to this way, Lego Master. We know next to nothing about the movie, just that there is a movie being written.
Yep.
That's all we know.
Exactly.
We don't even know what comics it's based on.
Mm-hmm.
Or even if it was based on any comics. Because we know, in the case of Tom King's Green Lanterns, that rule's been thrown out the window.
That's true.
Or even we don't even know the cast. Yeah,
exactly. We don't even know who's going to play Wonder Woman.
The only casting thing we keep hearing rumors about is the Teen Titans one, which seems like that is most likely going to be the third movie at the rate things are going.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't see Teen Titans playing a role in Chapter 1. If it does, it's going to be shoehorned at the very end.
I don't agree with that, JJheat. I do not agree with that. I personally do think, since already you're the woman who wrote Supergirl is writing the Teen Titans, and again, there is the talks about them doing casting. People are liking the Teen Titans script. It's probably going to go to production a lot sooner, and I think that's how Gunn is working. Whatever gets finished in production first gets next in line.
That's an interesting way to
True.
do it. So there you go. You could.
The reason I say that to follow what you're saying, Robert, is because let's be honest, Batman is the bigger IP of the Teen Titans, and the Teen Titans is a spinoff of Batman if we're focusing from Grayson's perspective. So I would say with Batman Brave and the Bold getting pushed back to 2027 at the very earliest, I would definitely say Teen Titans is going to get pushed back to like 2029, maybe right at 2030, which is what's originally slated for Chapter 1 to end with Justice League, according to the original announced slate.
True, but like I said, I don't think they're just going to sit on something when they're trying to get other productions in the, off the ground and everything. I really don't think they're going to just sit and wait.
Oh, of course. I mean, once they get a good enough script in, they're going to fast track production. But bigger IPs are going to be the priority. That's all I'm saying.
But if Batman doesn't even have a full script yet, but Titans does, Titans will probably be the first.
Yeah, and by NJ says Cersei and Veronica Cale for the main villains. That's a great option. Cersei as the one behind the scenes pulling the strings, and Cale being the main villain. Yeah, that kind of works.
I got an idea. Veronica Cale is able to somehow get her hands on Cersei through her connection. And depending how things go for Lex, because I do think we'll see a Wonder Woman movie before we see this quasi sequel to Superman. That's a gut feeling. What if Veronica picks up the remnants of Luthor Corps?
It depends on how it ends, because remember, the company still sometimes exists when he's in jail.
No, that's true. I'm just saying that's a possibility. But like I said, I can see Veronica Cale getting her hands somehow through contracts or shady dealings, her hand on Cersei.
She buys up the company.
No, we can't have her buy out the Creature Commandos.
No, I mean LexCorp.
Oh, LexCorp, yeah. She's does a hostile takeover.
Yeah, there you go. You could do that, and she gains access to all this tech. That's how she gets the tech to build Silver Swan. That's Luthor Corps tech technically.
Exactly, and like I said, Cersei, because we already know where Cersei is currently.
Yeah,
she's apprehended and everything. I think, timeline thought of at first isn't going exactly the way he wanted. So first to finish, first to finish comes out first. I don't know if that's going to screw with the timeline. I do think Gunn's going to then look at it and take what order is into account and then tweak things. Might that throw a wrench into some upcoming projects? Possibly, but I don't think they're going to go out of their way to have it be do something that will irrevocably damage another production.
Mm-hmm.
Would you guys agree with that? I do not see Gunn being that kind of
Waller
person.
freed her as part of their deal. Oh, that's right. They did do that in Creature Commandos.
All right, so she could still.
Well, here's the thing. It could be Cersei. It could be Veronica Cale just finds Cersei, because remember, Cale's trying to find her way to Themyscira if they go with that plot line. And she finds Cersei because, at least according to Creature Commandos, Cersei's an ex-Amazon.
Which I find an interesting idea.
How much you want to bet that's just the news media?
True.
Because remember, they had their rendition of the Amazons looking like supermodels and all that stuff. That could be just the news media making that.
That is so what the news media would do. Yeah. That's why that never bothered me when I saw it, because I'm just like, that's so what they would do.
That's what Britt and I said. We were like, that's probably what that is.
Yeah, there's no way that's what they actually are.
Now, most Amazons do look like that, probably, but not all of them.
Mm-hmm. By the way, Cersei was actually a boss in the Justice League Heroes Flash game, of all things.
In the Flash one?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, it was the side story to Justice League Heroes.
Oh, wow. That's interesting.
So it complements the events of it, hence why he's dealing with Cersei.
I wish Cersei had actually fought Wonder Woman. That would have been kind of nice.
Have they? I mean, I want to say this: as bad as it was, disgraceful as her defeat was, I still think that Creature Commandos handled her better than other handlings of her.
Short of the fight against Weasel, yeah, I
That's what I
agree.
meant. That's what I agreed.
To be fair, that was the characterization. That is based on a Cersei prior to the Macbeth storyline, I believe, or where she gets. I forget the goddesses, but Cersei does.
Hecate.
Thank you.
Yeah, but JJheat, according to Gunn, she was beaten because Weasel was moving at super speed. His words.
That makes no sense.
Even live action, I've never seen. If that was true, then that's an error on the animator's part because he did not look like he was going. He looked like he was running at normal speed.
I'm pretty sure they're trying to say that Cersei was just caught off guard and Weasel completely blitzed her.
Nope, I'm just using how Gunn explained it because the heat got so bad he had to respond.
Which was stupid.
I know.
Why would not be surprised if he ends up retconning that in the next season?
He probably will. Gunn wants Damian as the Robin for the DCU and most likely leading Teen Titans, but he's supposed to be introduced in Brave and the Bold before.
Now, just have Tim Drake. Have Tim Drake being Teen Titans and then Damian with the Batman films and then build up to Damian joining the team in Chapter 2 or maybe early Chapter 3. That's an easy fix.
Yeah. Now, I will just say that, again, I approve of all the Robins existing because, again, that's the one downside with all these reboots and fresh starts for Batman starting the beginning. You're never going to get the Robin. And if you do, they're going to have to be, like, you're not going to do it right, which we saw.
Mm-hmm. NJ, they don't have to make her nigh invulnerable. No, Cersei's not nigh invulnerable.
And dude, no one wants a boring invincible villain no more than they want a boring invincible hero.
And I'm sorry,
Anyway.
I don't know if she had the Princess of Bacalstan had any connection to Amethyst or Gemworld in any way. That's just something I heard. But she was just a weak villain. Like outside of the Flash future sequence, she barely played a role in the season other than seducing Flax.
Wait, what? Wait, what?
I'm talking about the princess.
Creature Commandos.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, Cersei was an antagonist. She was a foil, so to speak. But making the princess herself, at least, I just feel like she was a weak villain. Not in terms of doing very much, but in terms of scheming. We don't even know what she was planning. We just get a basic exposition dump of what she's scheming, what she's plotting to do. But without the resources to pull it off, she can't really convey any kind of threat. It's political subterfuge at best and a mild inconvenience at worst.
But it was also done so she is in comics though, taking attacks.
No, she's not. She's not invulnerable in the comics either.
And dude, Granny Goodness took her out disguised as
Athena.
Yeah,
so she's not
Granny Goodness, who is not that powerful among the new gods.
And then honestly, the more I think about Brave and the Bold, it's a good thing Gunn is doing this. Let's be honest. This is what they should have been. Yeah, exactly. Because here's the thing. Because if they're starting with Damian, chances are we've already had Nightwing. Because you don't have to wait like 10 years to get to like Jason per se.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I was going to bring
Which
this
one
up
say,
right
Natalia?
now. I'm going to bring this up right now. I guarantee you, I think Nightwing will be with Barbara Gordon.
More than likely.
More than likely.
Because
no, they better not pair up Tim with Starfire.
Based on the Fortnite collab, no, this is.
They're not. Even Fortnite said no. That wasn't romantic.
Oh, wait, and wait a minute. Ottaby, Catwoman beating Cheetah in the fight is feasible. Catwoman has done great.
You know what's
like
not
that.
feasible? Tom King. Catwoman punching two Flashes running at her.
Okay, that I would agree with. But like I said, her beating Cheetah is feasible.
Because Cheetah's not as people mistake she's part Cheetah as she's super speed. She's faster, but she's not super speed level.
And Catwoman dealt with cheetahs because they're cats.
Exactly.
Not that she has any power over cats.
But yeah, like I said, I really think that James Gunn will pair up Nightwing with Barbara Gordon. I think because not only because with the fact that I think Nightwing's already established, but I think he'll be in a relationship by that time as well. Considering
the other thing to think about, and Britt and I have said this before, the reason why they're not going to do Nightwing with Starfire is because here's the thing. The Bat editorial, at least, doesn't like the Bat family being with superpowered people because it makes the Bat family look inadequate in protecting Gotham. What do you want to say, Robert?
By the way, the JJheat, the princess was an original character.
Okay, thank you for confirming that, Robert.
Yeah, and to be fair, that makes sense because you want a character you can kill off at the end.
Thank you for confirming that, Robert.
Wait, and how could you take a pissed off one when punches with Zeus? Who said she was punching with full force? She's not She's not nigh invulnerable.
Cersei is basically DC's Loki. There are times where she's written to be taking the altercation seriously, and there's times where she's duping around, holding back, or outright tries to get out of dodge.
Exactly, especially especially when she has the Hecate's power, her empowerment and everything. Yes, but that's why most writers don't write her that uber powerful. You usually do not write your villain at their peak all the time because then it becomes a case of one. If I have the heroes win now, how can I have the villain come back without giving him a power upgrade? And two, you also just have the case of writing yourself into a corner.
That's why if you're gonna write Cersei as a villain, she needs to be a one-off. Her appearance in that conflict or adaptation needs to be a one-off. You can get away with that with like animated shows because they're mostly episodic for the most part, but a live-action adaptation would be difficult.
Yeah, that's why I say tone her down. Do not have her at her full power, and you can keep her around just like you could Loki.
Cameron brings up a good point. Cersei was imprisoned in the DCAU after Batman sung.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, but to be fair, she did that willingly.
But still, she could have escaped from prison. As far as we know, she stayed in there. By the way, Random Up 4 says, if Bat family is established, I'd imagine Barbara Gordon is already crippled as Oracle. They're not doing the Killing Joke movie.
No, I think they're going to go with Tom Taylor. Have it be she's been hurt. She can do both. Juggle both. She'll be Oracle. But if she feels up for it, she'll be Batgirl.
Okay, why?
Yeah, okay, let's actually have this conversation. Now, if we're not counting the option of Oracle either getting a synthetic brace or a mesh to help her, slowly but surely physically walk again, but splits personas when needed. Would we get Cassandra Cain and Stephanie Brown? Now,
not Stephanie. Stephanie will say spoiler.
Okay.
What about Cassandra Cain?
I want them to include Cassandra Cain Batgirl solely because we can get an actual Cassandra Cain adaptation.
Yeah,
not Birds of Prey.
Because let's be honest, Birds of Prey was just a ripoff. Of Deadpool 2. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Yep.
And Cameron says, see, here's the thing. I think if they actually included Cassandra Cain, most people would not. I get the feeling that most people have forgotten that Birds of Prey.
I know, yes.
Yeah, exactly. And Creature should be ignored because even a weakened Cersei stomps these E-listers.
So Cersei just conquers everything. Is that what you're wanting, NJ?
You need to have a villain that loses. Plus, she wasn't the main villain. Also, adding to the point, they can't ignore that because that sets up the whole universe.
Yep. I mean, NJ, seriously, I get you like Cersei. I like a lot of villains too, but you basically want to be Cersei just takes over the world, and only Wonder Woman can stop her.
Cersei's not Darkseid. Darkseid is the one that you can make that argument.
Yeah, Cersei, no.
Now hold on, let's play devil's advocate for a second. Let's not just jump the guy. Now, I get what NJ is saying. In terms of feat, scale, and characterization, if you're going to use Cersei, you don't use her as a secondary antagonist and a foil for the princess's scheming. That is too basic of a characterization. There are so many other magic users you could have used for that. Clarion the Witch Boy.
Clarion would have been great, yes.
Yeah, Clarion the Witch Boy. Hell, you could even have used Dr. Psycho to a degree if you really want to get cheeky with it. But... But yeah, I if you're going to specifically to be a foil and help move the plot along with the princess's conspiracy over Bakolistan, I wouldn't have used Cersei to play that role.
True, but at least Gunn didn't kill her off.
True. Another again, no. Again, comics are very inconsistent, NJ. You can't go off of like comics for power scaling because they've even power scaled Superman.
Yeah. And yeah, yeah, and they've done that so many times. It's why Death Battle always has to say we're writing them at their peak without that limitation.
Now, all right. So I think I'm just here to say Tom King Size. Hey, what's up, Jim? How you doing, my friend? Yes, he does suck. In fact, wait, real quick, because Jim's here, I'm going to play another clip. Hang on. Where's a good one? Burn. All right. So let's transition to to our other topic. WB is splitting up.
Yep.
Now, here's what this means. Okay. They're splitting up between all the news stuff essentially and the studio stuff.
Yeah, the news and sports stuff, and then everything else. The video games, their IP, basically the IP farm is staying Warner Brothers, and they haven't confirmed it, but I'm positive the other one's just going to be Discovery.
So, yeah, exactly. What do you want to say to start us off, Teladia?
So this was big news when this. This was very big news. So, when it comes down to WBD and them splitting up, now there's rumors of Sony picking them up.
There's rumors of Sony. I've heard Universal. I've heard
Universal is the ideal one. I'm more in favor. Let me put it this way. I feel like I'm in a fantasy football draft. I'm more in favor of Universal because Sony, I'm sorry, their usage of the Spider-Man people is no. I'm not.
I don't want no one.
I don't want them touching DC. No.
Say what you will about the licensing agreement for the MCU, but you had Andrew Garfield right there. You could have done like Elseworld or standalone films,
or just not done Morbius.
Too soon.
No, but Jared, here's the thing. If Sony picks up the license to Warner Brothers Discovery, imagine the games we could have for DC.
True.
Oh, the games would be
God, no!
Robert, let's actually talk about this.
I'm saying that because I'm a PC guy.
Okay.
I don't think they'll do a PS4 exclusives. I don't think they're
no, they won't make it exclusive. But can you imagine like the more, like for example, Sony Santa Monica, Sucker Punch.
doing a Wonder Woman game, Sony Santa Monica. I would buy a PlayStation for that.
You could see Sony Santa Monica touch Superman. You could see Sucker Punch make a Batman game. You could see Insomniac touch something, maybe, I don't know, a Bat Family game. There's so much potential there that for in the video game section alone, there's potential there. Because let's put it like this. In the video game space side of it, that's going to be the biggest money maker that's going to be the biggest thing for if Sony was going to buy them out. Because they're not going to look at because if they're going to buy the movie division and all that, they'll pair up the HBO Max side of it and link up with the PlayStation stuff.
Yeah, Robert.
Go on.
One problem. I don't think Sony would want to risk losing Spider-Man, and there's no way Marvel would ever allow any of this.
Yeah, because I'm like, wait, let's say Sony did do it. Does that mean that like Kraven could show up in Gotham City?
Marvel would never allow that. Marvel would never allow it.
Can you imagine if that's how we get a DC Marvel crossover movie?
No.
Easily.
But the point I'm trying to get at is, you got to remember, the Sony licensing deal with Marvel isn't looking good. But if it's for the DC side of it, it looks better.
But
for just for DC alone. Not for the Marvel side, because we're not going to like dive into the realm of the Marvel problematic things, because you got to look at the what's the word? You got to look at the HBO Max side of it, the streaming services. You got to look at the video game side of it. You've got to look at the marketing, because all these things add up. Because PlayStation and Sony will look at that as a big opportunity for them to kind of go.
However, you got to remember this, because under the contract, and there's nothing even Disney can do about it, Sony can hold on to Spider-Man regardless of the sales. So long as they keep putting out some movie in production, they can keep doing this indefinitely. And sales is not going to affect it, and there's no way in hell they're going to let it go. That's a rare contract to have.
That is true.
When even Disney can't touch you.
But mind you,
No. Teladia.
yeah.
You got to think about that. That is a rare contract. They're not going to just let it slide for the sake of DC. That is just asking for too much money. Even if they keep screwing it up, they just know we got to rework it. They are not going to give that gravy train.
No, but what I'm saying, it's just a rumor. It's not confirmed.
No. Oh, I know.
So if it was going to be confirmed, more than likely it'll take 2 to 3 years before that deal ever goes through. So
logistically, yes, bare minimum 2 to 3 years.
Bare minimum 2 to 3 years. So that's what I kind of saw, because I saw somebody post that online, and I was just like, wait a minute. So
I mean, look at how long it took for Discovery to buy WB.
It took about 4. Took about 4.
Mm-hmm.
True, but like I said, I think more than likely Universal is in the best position for it.
Yeah,
more than Sony. I do
all
not think
across
Sony.
the board. I will.
Yeah.
I will say this. I usually try to be objective, but I will say this. All across the board, Universal would benefit the most. Sony would benefit more so from the gaming side than movies or other licenses. Disney is an absolute worst case scenario.
No, they're not going to allow it. They're not going to allow it.
I will say this, guys. You know what this means? Hey, Teladia. Technically, this means WB sold the Snyderverse.
No, please don't play.
I'm just saying. Technically, they did.
Don't play with fire, Jared. Do not play with fire. Don't play with fire, because you'll set off those audiences over there.
Yeah.
Either that or we'll get completely demonetized one way, depending on who gets triggered this week.
Yeah, exactly. but yeah, so and by the way, Universal is the one that even when there was talk of WB selling the DC brand, I was like, Universal would be the safest bet. There's still a little bit of risk, but that would be the safest bet if I had to pick a studio.
And they've made plenty of deals with Warner Brothers. The Harry Potter stuff alone.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And plus, Universal would want that. Honestly, Universal is probably going to want the IPs, because that's the big thing.
That's the money maker.
Because they only have a couple of years left on the Marvel ownership for their parks. Because again, that was another contract that Disney can't break. But they only have, I think wasn't it until 2030 or something, I think.
Yeah. So, and by the time if this deal goes through, by the time that occurs, they'll be able to say, okay, we're making a DC park now, or we're remodeling all this into a DC park.
And but also, like, you gotta also remember the split. Warner Brothers splitting up everything, not just like DC.
Yeah, but I'm saying I could see them doing that when they because they're like, oh, we have DC. We could do our own park. By WB and yeah, I know. That would be fun because WB Wonder Woman would technically be a Disney princess, but there's no way Congress would allow that.
Wait, dude, I was wrong. Turns out Marvel actually has the MC, and Universal has the Marvel character rights indefinitely unless they screw up.
Interesting.
So
and I'm positive because Marvel, when they made that agreement, they never thought they'd have something like Disney to back them up. And so they probably thought that sounded like a good idea at the time.
Because if you remember, the early MCU films, like all the way up until I think Avengers, were Universal movies.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So I just looked it up. Yeah, it's indefinite. That's why Disney's not going to get many of those Marvel character properties.
Yeah, exactly.
Because of that. That's the main reason.
Yeah. Wait, if WB is sold, what happens to Max?
George.
Oh, I think you mean HBO Max, because they're renaming it back to HBO Max.
Well, if Universal doesn't have one, so they'll just take control of it if Universal gets it.
If Universal gets it, then
they'll take charge of it.
They'll take charge of it. If it's Sony will add it onto their streaming platform, like PlayStation or something like that. because I can see that.
Yeah,
Being
but
Now,
yeah.
so in terms of that, so that's basically all to talk about for
Now,
that.
wait, I just realized no one asked who's going to get the discovery part.
They haven't said anything.
Yeah,
All
no,
we
I don't
know
think
so
anyone
far-
cares. I don't think anyone cares.
Who cares about the discovery?
Yeah, exactly.
part?
Yeah, I was
Who
gonna
cares?
say.
Because all it says is that this is going to be spun up into two companies. Because here's the thing. What could you buy on the Discovery part? Because Discovery part's going to have like CNN and all the news people. No one gives a crap about that.
But those are the big things that will cause anyone trying to buy WB to say monopoly because of CNN. CNN is the biggest reason of all because it's one of the major news things. You get rid of that, then it makes it so much easier.
Exactly. So I'm going to end on more positivity by would Universal treat the Wonder Woman? I don't know. Probably they would treat it pretty well. I would say so.
I think they leave it up to DC personally. I don't think they're as hands-on as others.
Oh no,
Well, we'll
if you're-
see because I know that when Zaslav took over for Warner Brothers, he did have DC send him like all their sales for like a while back. So I think that's the least that they'll do, and they'll look at like, okay, why isn't like if she's like one of your four pillars, why aren't you putting that much emphasis on her?
To a point, but again, given how they are usually hands off with a lot of the other studios.
What I
especially-
mean, Robert, is that it's more like it could at least put the thought in DC's mind of them saying,
Possibly.
"Hey, can you look at this?"
True.
That's what I mean.
All right.
Anyway, so let's end on a little bit more positive and talk about our favorite Superman comic books because we talked about the trailer. Let's talk about some good ones. So first off, by Teladia, look what I finally got.
Oh, nice.
The
You
Jim
got
Lee,
in
the new Jim Lee
Nice.
cover.
Wait.
Hmm?
Where did you get that from?
My comic book store.
No. I mean, where did you get the? Because I haven't seen that cover before.
This cover was originally supposed to be the Superman Day cover, but they came in super late. That's what my comic book store owner told me. So I'm like, I saw this and I go, I want this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for me, this is one of my favorites. This is definitely a book I say, give it to a new fan.
Are you sure? Because it still is like, oh, he lost his powers. How do you lose his powers?
But they summarize it very easily, very quickly, and it definitely gives, like, if you're getting someone to get into post-crisis, this is the book.
Yeah. How about you, Teladia? Favorite Superman stories?
My favorite Superman story has to be All-Star Superman.
All right, that's a good one. Not one that I would give a new person, but in terms of a favorite, yeah, that's a fun, particularly if you're going for the more fantastical look. And I wouldn't be surprised if that's like where Gunn took a lot of his inspiration from. Is that? How about you, JJheat?
Heatman.
As for me, All-Star Superman, Truth, Justice, Truth, Justice, American Way, basically Superman versus the Elite, Death and Reign. Honestly, just some of the more classic storylines.
I'm gonna get a couple more of mine because I got a lot. Let me see here. I'm gonna get the one that Britt will kill me if I don't pick.
New 52.
Yeah. Hang on, I got a couple. All right. So I got Doomed by Teladia. You would love this story. Superman, Wonder Woman. NJ, we're gonna talk. We'll talk about that on Sunday, but not all of us have read that still. So I'm like that's why I would have included it on the topic list for this week, but I can't hear.
I haven't read it. Yet, and I please do not want spoilers still.
Yeah. So that. Oh, okay. Space Age. That's a good one. I love Space Age.
Yep, you and I went over that. Hold on. Smashes the Klan.
That's a fun one. I like that one.
Up in the Sky. Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry, Jared. I still like it. I don't care if it's Tom King. It's still a good story.
When Tom King stories hit, they really hit. When they don't,
Exactly.
they really don't.
That's why I gave him a shot.
Yeah, but that one's really hit hard.
Now, here's one that I read recently. Now, this is trade 2, but I wanted to put this up here.
Superman.
That one's a good one. I have a lot, but it's new for 52 for me because that's what I got into comics and made me love Clark and appreciate him a lot more. That's a good one. I like that one. All right, so let me pick. Let's see. Actually, I got another one that I want to bring up. Hang on. I'm gonna take my.
You guys are just like picking your books from like the shelf. Like, are you trying to compete? You guys are trying to compete with each other.
Action Comics. This is what I would give to a new person. This summarizes Superman.
Mm-hmm. Even if the run was lackluster, like
the Grant Morrison part was good.
Yep,
it was good. But
that's why
I would recommend the trade paperback instead of going for the individual issues because syndication was a nightmare when that run came out.
Now here's a question: does it have to be Superman directly? Can it be an ancillary too?
It can include Superman. Okay, that works.
Yep.
Okay,
the unauthorized biography.
All right.
Of course.
Public Enemy.
Superman Godfall. Oh.
No, Teladia. This is the book that Apocalypse is based on.
Oh yeah. I remember the design. Yeah.
Oh yeah. There you go. See, he's got it.
Jeff Loebrun. And because this is one of my more prouder things to show.
God damn it, Robert.
Hey, Robert. I'm sorry I got into comics before the man passed away. I'm sorry.
I got one.
He's so
there you go. There you go.
But
wait, Jared, look.
Robert.
Sue me.
My one problem, I like Secret Origin. My problem is that
I have that.
Gary Frank draws young Clark like he has Christopher Reeve's head on a child's body. The story that broke death in comics.
Unfortunate. Also, collecting those Doomsday books.
Oh, there you go. That's a good one.
Oh, this is a great one, but you're never going to get the twist because it's spoiled in the title now.
Oh, yeah.
I love this story.
So this has the Chris Kent thing, but this also has the Brainiac one, which is what Unbound is based on, Teladia. Yeah, there you go.
No. I've got I got the one volume.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Because the way I got Our Worlds at War is that my comic book store has this one closet where everything's half off, so I just go in there and just clean them out of graphic novels when the Superman there.
Oh, Jared, remember when we went over this?
Infinite Crisis.
One is that? Oh yeah.
That was a good one. American Alien's a good one.
I'm about to piss off Robert. Are you ready? I'm about to piss off Robert.
I like the artwork. I do not like anything else.
I kind of like it. American Alien is also good. Yeah, it's a good one. I really like that. Now here's the thing.
When Rucka handles Superman well.
Yeah. Now here's the thing, Cameron. I like some of what Max Landis puts on YouTube. His Wonder Woman story idea is not for me.
Wait, which one?
Landis's Kryptonian epic story that he does on YouTube.
Now I know what you're talking about.
That story, Robert. Absolute Superman. Absolute Superman is on there. I'm loving Absolute Superman. That is fantastic.
Yeah, just tell me if you want some better Gary Frank artwork.
Yeah, I'd say that one. Yeah.
But here's one I only got because I like the artwork, but not the writer. Chuck Austin's run.
Oh, okay.
Then you had Gail Simone's brief run. You and I went over this. Remember, Jared?
Yeah, exactly.
With John Byrne on artwork.
Oh, isn't that based off Superman and Shazam?
No.
Boys.
Yep.
One.
I got all three.
Me too.
I got all three. I got all three of that.
Yep. And then there's this one. This also was one of the lead ups to Infinite Crisis.
Sweet.
I got all of the Superman Batman hardcovers actually.
Honestly, this is my favorite Superman origin story. Birthright.
Interesting.
It's because
What do you got
did you
there?
just get Birthright out as well? Oh my god!
What? Sorry.
Robert!
What?
How about
What?
this one? Whatever happened to the Man of Tomorrow? But this also has, so Teladia, remember the episode of Justice League Unlimited?
Yeah.
What do you get for the man who has everything?
Yeah, I remember that.
This has that.
You just set off Robert, by the way. Just
Of
saying.
course I did. Of course I did. I wonder if the Superman movie also took inspiration from Birthright. Probably, I would say so. I would say it probably did.
Oh my god, you guys are competing. You guys are like competing to show the best book.
I guess you could say a battle of the comics.
You guys.
I had to.
You guys.
The battle of the
You
comics.
set me up perfectly.
Okay, I got one that started off good, but then went off the rails real fast. You ready?
What's that?
Superman Year One by Frank Miller.
I can't find my
Robert.
I got that.
No, but this went off the rails real fast.
First issue and a half was good.
Yeah, the first couple issues is good. It's when it gets to Metropolis, and ironically,
When you got to Atlantis.
yeah, when we like see Poseidon, and Poseidon wants to sleep with his daughter, and I go,
That's when it went off the rails. Everything up to him going to Atlantis was golden.
And as much of a Super Wonder fan as I am, here's the problem: Wonder Woman falls in love with him way too fast.
Yep. Wait. Superman. Okay. MJ, one little. I understand what Wade was going for. I don't.
No,
think
it's not just that. It's also the way he wrote Cheetah in Justice League Unlimited, where Diana goes, Cheetah's not capable of doing that. She's a smart person. I think she is.
All right, but Electric Blue.
Electric Blue is not that bad.
We agree with that.
Okay, here's a story. Here are a couple of graphic novels that I actually really like.
Remember you and I covered this one?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. All right, so Claudia, obvious. Yeah, I was about to bring that up, Robert.
I've read that one. I've read that, the first trade for that.
Yeah, it's good. So Red Sun, obviously Red Sun. And so Robert, I got this one after you and I covered it. Son of Superman.
Yep. By the way. And funny you brought that up.
So Teladia, so in this story, he has a kid with Lois. He vanishes for 20 years, and then he comes back, and like Wonder Woman is like manipulating everything behind the scenes. It's really weird. Oh my god, you're enjoying this, aren't you, buddy? You're enjoying this, aren't you, buddy?
I'm enjoying this, like seeing you get tortured.
Hey, dude.
Robert.
He's got 40 more. He's got 40 more of that. Just saying.
Here's another one. Here's one that I think is underrated.
Yes.
I really like this story. I really did. Triangle era. It's pretty. Robert and I are having a book off. That's what we're doing. We're having a book off.
Too easy.
It's too easy for us just to like laugh and giggle, and me and JJheat are giggling.
Jared.
Yo, what's up?
Okay.
I said Jared.
Yeah, that's my name, Jared. That's my actual name.
That's what we call him, JJheat. Camelot Falls. Okay, there you go. There's also For All Seasons.
The Redemption.
Okay. Oh, I remember that one.
Yep. Yeah, Brett, that is true. I think there more deal with Brainiac in that fourth issue.
Yeah, they set that up.
And they just dropped it.
All right, Teladia, here's what I was able to get on Superman Day. Special hardcover of All-Star. And he's going to get All-Star and have it signed by someone, aren't you? Ah!
I'm sorry. No, I'm not.
Stop apologizing for stuff you're not sorry about.
Wait.
You guys are having a book off right
Get
now,
out of here.
and Robert's winning. I'm just saying.
Yeah, but let me ask you this.
No, wait, Jared.
Hang on. All right, you know what? I'm going to break out the big guns. I got you beat, Robert. So hang on.
He's got you beat because he's gonna show off the Gal Gadot one.
No. Suck it! Signed by Charles frickin' Sewell.
Oh, you mean the guy I've also had sign a bunch of my other books?
Ah!
I am signed, and I had him signed back before he charged people.
Robert. Just when I think I got him, he like shoots me down.
Hey, dude, I got George freaking Perez to sign most of my books. I got Dave Gibbons to sign my Watchmen. Can you really beat me?
Who's gonna win the?
The only way you can beat me,
probably Robert.
The only way you can beat me is if you have a Jeff John autograph, which I know you don't have.
I soon will. I soon will. At a future
Really?
date, I'm sure.
Oh, you're sure? You don't know for certain.
CGC does signings with him all the time. I could send a book in.
True, but I can also, and there's also
Comic-Con.
well, yeah, but he doesn't do Comic-Cons that often. But like I said, I just gotten there's so many of these over the years. I'm sorry, not sorry.
How about not sorry, not sorry? So, stop with the whole I'm sorry. You're not sorry. You're not sorry. That's got to be a Comics League moment. The great book off of 2025.
I win.
Yes, you win. By the way, real quick, you guys see the photos of Henry Cavill with the Superman long hair?
Yeah, I've seen that.
He looks like Superman like that. That's actually really cool. Oh, I love random. You all are jumping out of chairs so fast. It's funny. Okay, so what's another book?
Not a Superman book, but Gimli and Jeff Loeb.
I need a Superman book. What do I have here?
Jared, I think you're running out of books to kind of compete with.
Also, when it comes to that Superman, that Infinite Crisis.
Robert, look.
Dice. Hold on, where is it? Where's that Infinite Crisis book? Where did they put it? Oh, there it is. Jared? Look at all the Ed McGuinness, Ivan Rice, Howard Chaykin, Gail Simone, not Gail Simone, Dan Jurgens, and Phil Jimenez all on.
You don't have to rub it in. You don't have to rub it in. He has a story in that. Oh, God damn it. I can never win with this man.
No, you cannot, unfortunately.
No, you're fighting the
Why
losing
are you
battle.
on my side, Teladia? I bring it back in.
Hey, because Robert showed me everything. That's the thing. That's why I know he's got you beat.
Oh, God damn it. I was so close. So close.
But I almost had Alex Ross. I almost did.
Of course you did. You have everyone.
I said almost. I didn't. I almost.
You have everyone. Let's see.
Jared, if roles were reversed, you'd be doing what I'm doing.
I can neither confirm nor deny that. Oh, you better believe you'll be getting a DM if I ever get the Jeff Johns autograph. I'm gonna be like, guess what, a-hole?
Just like you got the Gal Gadot one.
Yes, I do. I have Gal Gadot's autograph. Matter of fact, I'll grab that.
Grab
That's
it.
it.
Grab your popcorn,
I
ladies
could
and gentlemen.
care
This is
less.
going to take a while.
I'm eating my popcorn right now because this is the.
Hey, I still got both him and Mitch to sign it.
Yeah, but I could care
But-
less about Tom King.
Well,
I'm placing bets Robert wins. Hey! I really appreciate all the support, ladies and gents. Thanks. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot.
oh,
Why do I bring you people on my shows? What are you guys doing? What are you guys
Hey,
doing?
you said I said I was gonna come on. I wasn't expecting this. You're the one who said our favorite Superman comics. I wasn't gonna bring the talk about that. You're the one who said that.
Tim Sale, John Cassidy, and Ed McGuinness.
Play the sad music. Dun 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 dun.
That's the Jurassic.
Yes.
That was a good one, Teladia. That was well timed. Robert, now you're on thin ice, Robert.
Oh,
The ice is cracking. The ice is about to fall through. You are falling through the ice right now. You are falling through the ice.
He's got
All right,
that
yeah, we
nice
see it,
dude.
Robert. We see it, Robert. We see
Oh
it.
my god.
Mhm.
This is TikTok
Thank
Jared,
you for
guys.
torturing me, Robert. Thank you. I really
This is-
appreciate that.
Guys, this is TikTok Jared so much. I think this is a Comics League moment of
Yeah, this is
2025.
probably it's a great book off. I may make this a clip. All right, so I think that's a good place to leave it before Robert
I'm
further
sorry.
humiliates me. No, stop it. So funny watching you guys. Thank you, silly girl.
I'm sorry, I couldn't resist.
You're not sorry. Stop it.
No, I
Stop
am sorry
lying.
in this regard. In this
Yeah,
regard, I
No,
am sorry for taking you off.
wait. If Robert gets a Wonder Bat book and that's got signed, I'm gonna
No.
say
I already have a Super Wonder book sign. What are you
He's
talking
that
about?
Wonder Bat. He's that Wonder Bat book.
Why would I
Wonder
care about Wonder Bat?
Surprisingly, a lot of the fan base still cares to this day, surprisingly.
No, they don't. That's just the DCAU fan base.
Ah,
Batman White Knight.
No,
That's
no.
fine.
All right, so yeah, we're
I'm
gonna
going-
wrap up before he further spanks me on my own show. So, Teladia, where can we find you and what have you got coming on your channel?
Okay, you guys can check me out on YouTube at Teladia Plays. What I've got coming up is next week. I'll be doing a stream with Robert as we cover Absolute Martian Manhunter. Oh my god.
You walked right into that. You walked.
You are not letting this go, Robert.
No, he's not. I'll let him finish off his thing, then I'll do my outro.
okay. No. Can I be honest? I never got Stan Lee. I never did. I had 3 opportunities and I never had the chance.
So
All right, I'm done. I'm done. No, wait. One more artist we've noticed no longer with us. Ramona Fraden. Okay, now I'm done.
I'm surprised you don't have an
Teladia,
autograph. of
quick,
Tuesday.
get us out of here.
okay, so you guys can check me out on YouTube at Teladia Plays. What I've got coming up on my channel is I'll be doing Absolute Reports and I'll be covering Absolute Martian Manhunter 2 and 3 with Robert, as we're gonna be that'll be the final thing that I'm gonna be taking a break just for the time being until further notice, because Marvel Rivals are gonna be pumping out content and I'll be doing some coverage for that. And then also Superman, I'll be doing interviews with Siobhan. That's coming at the end of the month, so stay tuned for that. And also, I gotta say this: may the force be with you. Wonder Bat.
Ah! I got Robert showing off his collection. I got you doing the Wonder Bat thing. All right, JJheat, what are you going to do to piss me off?
Unfortunately, I got nothing. But as for me, you can find me at JJheat Plays or JJheat75. I usually do gaming, comics, streaming. I even started a stream on Twitch where I'm playing the Walking Dead Telltale games. I'm going through not only season 1 but also the entire series if I have the storage for it. I'm already starting on Twitch, so if you want to hop on my Twitch account if you want to catch my gaming streams early. But I usually upload them on YouTube within the following day. So
All right, show off. What have you got coming on your channel, and where can one find you?
Oh, I got some episodes of Pro Teaches Noob in the can, and yeah, that's about it, really. Although, Jared, you realize you could have just booted me if you really wanted to stop me.
I know I could have. And right now I'm hating myself that I didn't. So, as for me, tomorrow's movie night is going to be Crisis on Infinite Earths. We're covering all 3 parts. We're not doing this 3 months. We're going to be done with it.
Oh,
And then Britt and I on Monday are going to be releasing Super Wonder Legacy episode where we talk about the DC AMU and how it was destroyed by nostalgia. I'm debating taking Father's Day off for my Wonder Woman live stream. I'll let you guys know what I decide to do.
Wait,
And then
DCAMU or DCAU?
DC AMU.
DCAMU.
Okay.
DCAMU.
Okay. Well, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Please continue.
And by the way, Jared hates Robert more than Lex Luthor. I don't hate you, Robert. I just hate showing offness. I'm like,
how did we even get there? How did we even get there?
Well, y'all did beef for 20 minutes straight, which the fans were obviously entertained by.
Yeah.
How did I even? I'll be honest. I got so carried away. I don't remember how we got there.
It's a natural progression, my friend. And then obviously Wonder Woman Wednesday and such. And I will see you guys later. Let's get out of here before Robert grabs another book. Oh no!
What?